Okay, today I am interviewing Nancy Badillo. She is a digital marketing specialist. She's been in digital marketing for over 10 years. She also has uh, several, not just one, but several very successful Etsy shops. In fact, she's been so successful that she has turned that into coaching. She does coaching specifically for women who are turning their crafts into cash on the Etsy platform. She has some courses. She does coaching. Um, she does shop audits. Then she has some fantastic branding, which we're going to get into, her overall branding strategy. We're just going to talk about a whole lot of things. So Nancy, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Great, great, great. Okay, so let's kind of get into this. But before we get into the specifics, there may be some attendees of Craft Cash Summit who have not come across you. That would be hard for me to believe because you have videos everywhere. But for those attendees who don't know who you are, can you give us a little bit of your background, how you got started and how you got to where you are today?
Oh, of course. So I started digital marketing about 10 years ago. And the main reason I started digital marketing is because I lost my home. I was going through a hard time with I went from a full-time job to a part-time job. They were downsizing. And eventually I lost my job. And I lost my home, I lost everything. But in the course of before I lost my home, I started researching online how to make money online because I've heard of it back then. It was like 2007, 2008, around there. I have heard of it, but didn't really understand it. It wasn't anything I've done before. And I started blogging. And from there, it just started escalating. I just fell in love with the digital space. I started doing blogs. I started flipping blogs. So I would create a blog, pack it with a whole bunch of SEO, do a blog with like 30, 40 pages, put some affiliate marketing there, start making money, and then sell it on a site called flippa.com. And I kind of started doing that. And then with over time, I started dabbling in all different aspects of digital marketing. So I started doing digital marketing. I started doing affiliate marketing. I started doing blogging. I started even YouTube back in the day, but I really wasn't successful with it back then because I didn't have a specific niche. I was like all over the place. And for the last, I want to say for the last 7 years, I was in a bigger spectrum. My blog was everything and anything digital marketing related. So if you wanted to learn how to make money online, if you wanted to learn how to do SEO, if you wanted to learn how to blog the correct way, if you wanted about affiliate marketing, that's all I did. And then about 2015, that's when I got married. The year before that, I started shopping and people were like, oh, you should buy stuff on Etsy. They have like a lot of great stuff for wedding. So I went, I bought some items and I spent like $65. I bought like an invite, table numbers, and then I bought a sitting chart. And they were do it yourself. Like, so you buy it from the store, you download it and you edit yourself. And I was just sitting there and I said to myself, this lady made $65 out of me, but she really didn't do that much besides the upfront of doing the work, actually doing the templates. But besides that, she just made $65. So after I got married, I told myself I'm going to do a case study and do Etsy as an additional topic to my blog on how people make money on Etsy, just to see if I could do it myself. I did a case study. The first year I made over $20,000. And then I was like, okay, I'm up to something. And that's how my journey started on Etsy. It started because someone recommended it. I bought some items for my wedding. After the wedding, I said, I'm going to do it as a case study. And 3 years later, now I have a YouTube channel, like you mentioned, a couple stores, support, an Etsy seller support group, and etc. But that's how I started, basically.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, that's a lot of experience. Um, so how, I want to cover a whole lot here, but I want to be mindful. We have two types of attendees. One type are people who are just brand new. They They're good at crafting. They know how to do their craft. In fact, some of them are, world-class crafters. Um, but they don't really know how to monetize. They don't know the digital world of monetization, although that's not what Craft Cash Summit is 100% about, because we actually have some speakers who are going to, like Jim Snow, who are going to be talking to us about live events. So we're trying to cover all the bases to help crafters to monetize. But your specialty is deep into the digital world, and so let's kind of talk about where, like, that first step. You bought the was that like a PSD file, or what did you actually buy? What was that $65?
It was Acrobat Reader.
Okay, so you bought an Acrobat Reader file, then you played with it, and you were like, hey, wait a minute, I can do this. And then did you open up your Etsy shop at that point?
No, because I was getting married and I was planning a wedding, and I know I didn't have more time for another new project like I'm always taking. So I told myself, after the wedding, I'll start this. And that's what I did. I started after the wedding.
So then you opened up, so after the wedding, you opened up the Etsy shop, and which one was it? Was it your wedding one here?
It's my Badillo boutique, yeah. Originally, to be quite honest, I started doing quotes because
I saw some of those, yeah.
I'm not a graphic designer. I didn't know, I didn't have even now when I look at some of these old ones, I'm like, ooh, they don't look that great. But so my old listings, but I wasn't a graphic designer. I didn't know about Canva. Anytime I bought anything for my blog, I usually bought it through Fiverr, or or hire someone. So I didn't have any experience, basically.
Yeah.
In the e-commerce world, I didn't know anything about e-commerce. And this was pretty fairly new to me. So I said, let me do some research. And I started noticing stores that sold quotes like "This Girl's on Fire," like from Alicia Keys, like songs. And I was like, oh, I could make some money doing quotes. I mean, it's pretty simple. Just save it in a document. I did Word document. I typed in quotes. I didn't even know what a mock-up was, to be honest. I'm like, how do I show the product? So then I started learning about that, and I started buying mock-ups. Eventually, I started making money. It was only like $5 here, $5 there, but I started making money. But what I didn't know, which is like one of the biggest mistakes I think that many, including myself, Etsy sellers make, is that you cannot use quotes that are copyrighted. So my first year, I kept getting with infringement, like intellectual property, because I was using quotes from like songs and things. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm doing everything wrong. I'm like kind of doing what everyone else is doing versus like creating something different or unique. So that's when I kind of shifted from quotes. I removed everything from my store that had a quote that was any type of infringement, because I was scared of getting closed down. And that's when I said, you know what? The wedding industry / party is kind of big on Etsy, because even myself, I bought a lot of stuff for my wedding. And that's when I transitioned over and started doing more of like wedding. And from wedding, I started adding additional stuff. But the first like 5 months, I was just doing quotes. And then I learned my lesson, right? That you can't use quotes that are trademark. So then I started buying clip art. I taught myself how to do Photoshop, even though I want to pull my hair out, because it's a learning curve to learn. And then I started using Canva as well. And that's where the whole transition. When I did switch to wedding, my revenue tripled because of it. Because you could charge more for a sign, $15 versus just a regular quote that I was charging anywhere from $3 to $5. So that's
so like, I'm going to make a note of that. So I talk about that all the time in my own with my own folks, students and whatnot, and I love hearing that, because and I've said before that Etsy's bread and butter is weddings. That's where the bulk of their I don't know if it's the bulk of their, I can't say definitively it's the bulk of the revenue, although that's probably my guess. but I can tell you that it is the bulk of their transactions.
Oh yeah.
And so it doesn't surprise me that you're saying that. So so you were just doing random quotes and things like that, and then you moved into weddings, and then what did you, when you moved into weddings and you had that epiphany of, oh my gosh, I'm able to charge more. When you charged more, did you also sell more?
Yeah, I started selling more and I charge more because now I'm doing seating charts for $20 a pop, or I'm doing, invitation, $15. And then additional, like if people would say, in the beginning, I was a little shy to charge for custom stuff, like if they wanted to make additional changes. But over time, I was like, oh no, I need to start charging because it got very time consuming doing 20 different changes because they wanted different colors or they want, different fonts, etc. But
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning, yeah, I went from like $5 per sale, to I would sell like one month. I remember I sold like over $600 worth of sitting charts, basically,
Gosh, wow.
which is crazy. And then with the sitting chart, I did like you pay $20 if you do it yourself with Photoshop, but you could pay me an extra $10 and I'll add the information for you because a lot of people don't use Photoshop.
Right.
So that
And
another $10 upsell basically.
so this seating chart, for example,
Mm-hmm.
this looks like it's something that's printed on, like 3 feet by 3 feet. Is that not the print surface area?
No, it's actually bigger. This is just for like the mock-up to
Okay.
showcase the product. But when you buy it, depending on the sitting chart, you could get different sizes. Some are 24 by 36. Some are 8 by 10.
Mm-hmm.
Different sizes based on which one you click on. But no, this is just for the mock-up, just so you could kind of see how it would look on like a lifestyle photo, basically.
Yeah. And then they would just send that to Kinko's or,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So what I would do is you will email me your guest numbers or your guests, and then I'll go ahead and edit for you. I'll send you a proof. You review the proof to make sure everything is spelled correctly, everything is done correctly. Once you approve it, I send you the final file in JPEG and PDF format.
I see. And then they just forward that on to wherever.
Exactly. And I only sell digital downloads. I think that if I
Right.
originally would have sold like with print, I probably would have made even more money, to be quite honest.
Wait, what was that? Say that one more time.
I only sell digital downloads. So if I would have
Oh,
like
right.
partnered up with someone for the printing, I probably
Yeah.
would have made even more.
Right. Right. Like so why not go to I don't know. I think they print cards. It's a service called um, Fervanti. Have you heard of them?
No, I have not heard of them, but there's so many of them. And
Yeah.
there's so many of them. I think at the moment because I was doing this and so many things at the same
Right. Right.
when I started my second shop, I was pregnant and I was
Okay.
working like 15 hours a day, pregnant and everything. I'm building that store up to like, 4,000 listings. I wasn't like thinking of making it more complicated. I wanted to kind of just stick on digital.
Right. That's probably a good move.
Yeah.
So this is a digital download also?
Everything is a digital download. Yep.
Everything is.
Yes. Uh-huh.
But this one doesn't have the digital download icon. Is that
A lot of them are, all of them are digital downloads, but some
okay?
are instant download and some are personalized downloads. So this one is a personalized one. That's why you don't see the instant download. So it's a digital product, basically. Everything is a digital product. This one I will have to custom for you. I will have to add your name and your wedding day at the bottom. So you buy it, I edit, you leave the information, I edit for you, and then I send you the final file.
I gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And which one's been more popular? Just the straight download or the one where you tweak it for them and send it to them?
To be honest, both, but if you could sell personalized is better for you. A lot of people limit themselves because they're like, I don't want to do personalized options. I don't want to go through all that mess. But to be honest, people want stuff that are personalized. They might see your template and they might want to tweak just a word around, or maybe they just want to remove something out of it that maybe they don't have at their own wedding. So just making those changes, you can always charge an extra $3 like I do, an extra $2 just to do additional changes, and your income will go up. A lot of people limit themselves and they're like, I'm just going to sell instant download and not offer personalization. I like both options because some people just want to buy it, they like it, they just want to buy it and get it. And then there's some people that want the personalization of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
You make more money
So,
for it though.
yeah, so that's interesting. So why I'm just asking the question here. Um, why? So if the digital download is what, $4? If it's just a quick download, instant download.
It depends on what it is. I price them
Okay.
all. Mhm.
So if let's just say that this would be $4 on a digital download, and then you send them the PSD, and then they can change that in Photoshop or what else?
Well, this one, what I do is that the sitting chart was one of the few items that I offer, and the custom wines, if you want to do like a
Okay.
label, those were some of the few offers that I offer with Photoshop. I stopped offering them
Yeah, because
because
nobody uses them.
exactly over time, what I started noticing is that the ones that were do it yourself with Photoshop, people will like give me bad reviews, or
Yeah.
people will say, well, I didn't, because no one reads the listing description, unfortunately. A majority.
Right.
So, so what I came across was that people will buy it and they will get upset. And instead of messaging me and saying, hey, I need help with this, I don't understand why it's not working, they would just leave me a bad review. Like,
Yeah.
this doesn't work. But then I will reach out and say, well, it's a do it yourself with Photoshop that was listed in the actual listing description. I could also charge you an extra fee to, do it myself if you like to. So I started getting away from that. What I recommend now for people that have the time to do this is to use something like Adobe Reader, or to use like one of those type of files that are easier for people to do, like canva.com, because
Hmm.
Adobe Photoshop is too far advanced for many people.
Yeah.
And even if they download it and they want to edit themselves, most likely they wouldn't be able to, and they're going to get really frustrated and leave you a bad review,
Yeah.
and get really upset about it. Yeah. So if you want to take the route of passive income, which is great. Now I've learned if I ever did another Etsy shop, that would be the route that I would take. I would create a whole store, passive income only. You download the file and you edit yourself. The downside of that is that it's very time consuming to create a file
Hmm.
that's edible. It's very time consuming. The upsell of it is that once you have your store set up that way, you don't have to do no work.
Yeah.
You're selling, people buy it and they edit themselves. And there's so many stores on Etsy doing that, and they're making a killing. They actually, I think, make more money than stores like mine that I'm doing it for you, because people nowadays want to do it themselves. They just want to download it and like edit right there and then. They don't want to wait
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
I think
So
that's
so
route.
in Canva, uh, that makes sense.
Mhm.
You're creating the design with the dimensions, and then you're saving that um, as a JPEG, probably, right?
Yes, You could
Right.
say when you create a Canva design, you could save it as a share file. And then when you sell a customer, let's say the design, you send them that link, they open it and they could edit from Canva directly.
Perfect. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's probably, is that your most popular uh, format download? Is Canva
No, I
or
don't think it's Canva's the most popular one. I would say Adobe Reader is the
Adobe
most
Reader? Okay.
popular one. And they have a new one now that's called Template. If you want to Google them, and they're really good. I haven't tried Template yet,
Okay.
because I haven't dabbled in the sense of creating it with Template. But I think Template outbeats all the rest, because
Oh, really?
Template copy kind of like Adobe Reader, but Template gives you so many options to edit that particular file. And I think it's called Template with TEMPLETT, something like that. If you, there you go. I
Yeah,
think.
you're right.
Uh-huh. And they
Interesting.
give you so many options. It's just incredible. I've browsed through it. I have thought about doing Template, like doing a whole store with just them. They do charge you some type of fee
Okay.
to be able to create edible files with them.
Okay.
But this is the best route to do it. Canva is an easier route for people that want to do it for free or do it for a very minimum price. But template is the best one, to be quite honest, because template is designed for that specifically, versus Canva is designed for a little bit of everything, like, blogging, creating banners, and etc. But template is for editable files specifically. So that's why the one I would recommend.
I gotcha. Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So quick, and I put that in the notes here for everyone, for all the attendees to see. Canva, I'm super familiar with, have been for a long time. But this other one, we'll have to check out. That looks interesting. So a quick question there. Here's what strikes me about this pricing is if this download for this item is $4, why are you only charging $4 to go and edit it? In other words, why not? I'm asking, why aren't you charging $10?
Well, because this type of template is already pre-made and all I'm changing is the name and the wedding date on the bottom.
I see. Oh, at the bottom, yeah.
Just tweaking those two little things.
I see.
At that price. And I also do a lot of research. I see what other people are paying for templates like this, and I play with the prices. I don't really have any price formula that I use.
Okay.
I just base it on the work. Now, the sitting charts, I do charge $20 for the seating chart plus another 10 if I do it. I charge 30 if I edit.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. That's the reason why. And a lot of times they'll email me like 5 times later because this guest canceled or they want to change tables.
Oh
so
my gosh.
Time consuming. And this is why I was saying, if you could do something like this using template and have them do all the work like I did for my wedding, it is so much better, because that's what I have learned. There was at one point I was so busy with my stores, I would come home from my full-time job, sit down and work all the way to 10 doing all these orders, because it does get time consuming, especially when you start getting a lot of sales after sales after sales. And then just the process, like one part was creating, like doing the actual proofs for people. The other part is going back and forth in emails.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to change that? Here's the new proof. Oh, you didn't like that? Here's the new proof. So over time, my best advice for Etsy sellers, if you want to do digital good products, try to learn template and do everything with template. Make files that are editable with template. If somebody says, I don't want to use template, or I don't understand how to use it, or I'm not, techie, then charge them an extra fee. But it's going to be very little those people that are going to tell you, I don't want to edit myself. But then at least you don't lose those customers and you still make money. But that would be the best way, because passive income is a big thing for me now. Just creating a whole bunch of stores with passive income that I would do least amount of work, so I could concentrate on other stores or maybe other projects that I want to do, or just concentrate on growing them.
Yeah. So it looks like you've got, speaking of other projects, you've got, let's see, this is your Etsy shop, and it has over 4,000 sales. That was the first one.
That's
your
my main
one-stop shop for weddings and special events. And then your second one here is Forever Happy Prints, affordable prints for your special day. So this is another, this is one that you're doing. To kind of talk to us about why you're doing two different ones like this.
Well, the original one was like the first time I ever done any type of graphic design. I really didn't know what I was doing. It was a learning curve. I didn't have a creative eye. I could go back to old listings and I'm like, oh, doesn't look that great. So when I started the second one, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start a new one from scratch. But I knew I couldn't do another wedding store because of the Etsy rules. So I just did another one with me and my husband, and we work on this one together. And we started this one, and I started implementing everything I knew, everything I learned, especially because of my graphic design, and everything got better. If you look at the store, even the mock-ups, everything looks so much better compared to my previous store. And that's another thing. When you start a new Etsy store, when you start to dabble something that you have never done before, especially if you do crafts, but you don't know how to mock up, you don't know how to create beautiful photos, it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. Even like taking photos of your actual products. It's a lot easier when you sell digital goods because you could buy already pre-made mock-ups and just add your product in front of it, and that's all you're doing. So it is easier with digital products. However, just to even find a look that looks good is also difficult as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And we'll talk about a little bit later. We'll talk about the specifics of what tool you're using for this, and how you're uploading these quickly, because look, we all know, hopefully by now, if you've been around Etsy for any period of time, we all know that your shop, a big part of your shop success depends on this number right here. Is the more listings you have, assuming they're done well, not even this well. I mean, this is like, these listings and these images are, A plus.
Oh,
I've seen shops, and I've done audits on shops that are like B minus, but if they have, once you hit about 1,000, first of all, if you're new, don't worry about 1,000 listings. Just get your first 10.
that's all.
and then after 10, then I want you to go get 100. But if you've been selling on Etsy for a while and you've got 200 or 300, your next goal should be 1,000. And I can't tell you how many people I've talked to, and some of the speakers in Craft Cash Summit, in fact, who once they hit 1,000, things just started really moving for them.
Yeah.
So this is a really important number. So we'll talk later about how you're hitting those numbers and how you're getting those listings up so fast. But okay, so basically, this is your second shop, or the one you're doing with your husband as opposed to by yourself. And congratulations to your husband for getting over 3,000 listings. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And a big help.
And then this one here, talk to us about this one, because this is really interesting. The story behind this one. So tell us a story. Why did you start this one?
Well, once I started doing Etsy, and I did it as a case study. I did it like, let me try it out. Let me see. Everyone makes money online, doing Etsy. Let me try it out. So I did Etsy. I did over 20,000 my first year, and I was like, holy cow, I could make money on Etsy. So then I started opening the other shop that I just showed you with my husband, and then I made more money from that store. So after that experience, I said, okay, instead of having my niche on digital space and being so big, let me focus on Etsy as a niche for me, for my career. So I started this shop because of that, because I needed a shop that I could potentially sell to Etsy sellers, whether it's a logo, whether it's a Etsy critique. A lot of people are asking me. I started doing free critiques in the beginning. I think I did over 70 free critiques. And people were like, oh, can we do more? It was very time consuming. I was like, you know what? I'm going to start an Etsy shop where I offer tools and resources for Etsy sellers. And I'm going to start charging for Etsy critiques. And this is where kind of like the store started. I just needed like a store for if anybody had questions about Etsy, they could go in there and buy the critique and look at other items that I have to help them.
Gotcha.
And
Okay,
eventually
so
I'm going to add more stuff to it. I just haven't had the time to do it.
I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just looking at this link here. Okay, so basically, this shop was so that you could pretty much start funneling Etsyans into your coaching and training
Yes.
and your. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Okay,
I use it for that. Exactly. I use it for that. Mm-hmm. To
all
kind of
right.
brand myself, to kind of have a store that they could go in there and get a critique. I have to add more additional stuff, but that's the whole goal of it.
Okay, so to get on your list there, I'll just put that for everyone. That is the URL there, and
Yeah.
we'll put links, of course, on your speaker page for attendees to go and find out more about you. But that's an easy win for the attendees right there. So let's go back and look at. Okay, so then you have. I did want to get out of that page. Hang on one second. That was. Let me just go back in there. What is that was Nancy.
Nancy,
I'm sorry. No. Hang on one second.
Oh, sure.
Kind of jumping around here.
No problem.
Nancy Boutique, right?
Mhm.
If that's the one that's focused, no, hold on. What was the one we were just on? Let's see.
The other one is Forever Happy Prince.
Forever Happy Prince. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Forever Happy.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the one that's linked to? Oh, okay, right. Okay, never mind.
No problem.
Okay, good. I got them all. Cool. I thought sorry. Okay, so then we have your Instagram. We'll talk a little bit more in here in just a minute on how you're driving sales directly from Instagram, how you're driving sales from Pinterest, how you're using your website to integrate all these things, and then a little bit about your course. So are you ready to get into that now?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Let's talk about some specific tips and tricks.
Okay, sounds good.